Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. As in the previous lecture video we have discussed that how to combine CSS selectors and the combination of CSS selectors, and in today's lecture video we will discuss that what are CSS positioning and how to position or how to give a position to a CSS. So let's get started. So basically in today's lecture we are going to talk about positioning in CSS, and it gives you control over where element appears in your browser. It's essential for you creating layouts, overlays, tooltips, models and much more. So we'll discuss its some 5 positioning values which are given at your screen. Okay, so here are the some types of our CSS positioning. First is the static, second one is the relative, third one is the absolute, and fourth one is the fixed, and we will study it one by one. So for the first, that is static, that what is static? So by default every element is static. This means it just sits where it naturally belongs in a natural page flow. For example, here is an example of static, that there is a browser, or if you browse something in google.com or youtube.com, there should be some static things or some static pages that doesn't moves. It doesn't move and it naturally belongs up here. For example, I'll give an example in this paint, that this is the icon of view. It is in static position, it doesn't moves anywhere, or you cannot move it anywhere. And with static position, top, left, right and bottom properties don't work because it is static and it's like the element is anchored in its natural spot. So the second one, now it is relative position. That what is relative position? So when you set position relative, the element stays in the document flow but you cannot move it. In the static you cannot move it, and in the relative you can move it relative to its original spot using top, left, right or bottom. Like here is an example of the relative. Like for example, it is occurred in here and you can move it at here, you can move it at top, bottom, left, right. Like left, right, top and the bottom, you can move it. It is adjustable, you can adjust it, and this moves the div like 20 px down and 10 px right, but its original space remains reserved. Think of it as a shifting within its own box. Okay, so now is the third one, that is the absolute. So when you use position absolute, the element is removed from the natural flow and is positioned relative to the nearest position anchor list, one with the relative absolute of fixed position. So here is the example of absolute. It can be moved but with a slightly, like this is the anchor one, and this places the div at the top right of its container. If no position anchor exists, so it defaults to the window browser, and it can be commonly used for pop-ups or tooltips. So the third one is the, and the last one is the fixed. It is mentioned by its name, that is it's fixed, it cannot be changed. So with position fixed, the element is removed from the flow, and positioned relative to the viewpoint, and this keeps the header, it's the header, and it keeps always visible at the top, at its top. And even when you scroll perfectly for sticky nav bars or floating buttons, so it doesn't moves. So these were some of the types of CSS positioning. Okay, so now we will practice this all in our Visual Studio Code, and we will learn that how to position a CSS in practically, that we will how practically do this. So I'll meet you in the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I'm here in the Visual Studio Code and I have copy pasted the CSS positioning file that I have given in our WhatsApp community, so you can copy from there and paste it at here. So it contains three files. First is the goal, second one is the index.html, and third one is the solution.html. So our main work is in index.html because we have to practice it here. And when we go in the solution, so it contains these types. First is the heading title, that CSS positioning exercise. So the width should be 200 px, the height should be 200 px, the background color should be red, border radius this much, 50% position absolute, top 150 px, left 250 px, and the blue box which is inside the red circle, it contains background color blue, width this one, height this much, position relative, top this much, left this much. And when we go at the style or heading, so it contains some classes. First is the class, that the first class is blue box, the second class is the red circle. So when I run this code and start debugging on it, so it contains this interface, that there is a blue box, and within the blue box there is a circle that is half outside and half inside. So the red circle is this and the blue is square. So your work is that you have to apply these all in our HTML index, and your goal is this, that the height from the box till this end should be 200 px, the height and the width, this should be 200 px, and here should be 300 px, the height or the width of the box should be 300 px, and from the circle till this edge of the box it should be 150 px, and from here the circle center or the circle mid radius it should be 200 px, and this length of the square it should be 500 px. So I hope you have understood this, that how to apply these. So now I will practically show you that for the, so you should write here your code, like you can see that the title you will give this, okay, the title is given already, you have to apply only the code, like from here till here you have to apply these all, or I can just simply, you have to write it full, but I will copy paste it for my time. I will copy this code and paste it at here. So I have pasted it. You have to not paste it, you have to practice it. I have a little time issue, so I will copy paste it. So this was the code and the red circle and the blue box. So I hope you have understood today's lecture, and if this video helped you, hit the subscribe button and let me know in the comments which CSS topic you liked the most, and in the next lecture we will deep dive in the CSS furthermore. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.